catching it.
For sure, though, there is something out in this water. There's something out here, and this is exactly the place where the Naga footage was shot.
Can we make these cameras any more sense?
Really deep right now. Looks like we're going to hit something a little higher than that in a second. This is the deepest it's been for a while.
There's something bumping around out there. Can you turn the boat lights on? It's creepy out there. Carter, are you seeing anything?
No, I'm not seeing anything.
Lindsay, can we take a look at camera 3 again? It's too dark.
It's tough because this camera uses all the available light, but there really isn't very much out here.
And with no ambient light, there's just no contrast between the water and the...
If it were a full moon, it might be a little easier to see, but...
I mean, you can see something disturb the surface of the water, for sure. But beyond that, you can't... I mean, it's really difficult to discern anything. Let's see if we can look around a bit more. Can you kill the lights for me, please?
I'll start a new recording.
Still nothing on the fish finder.
Captain says that we're drifting back towards the rocks again, so we're going to need to pull up the Dolphinaire, and we're going to have to head back towards the Thailand side.
Well, I mean, it's been a while now since we've had anything disturb the surface of the water. We're really, I think, looking for a needle in a haystack here at this point. I think we should wrap this up before we end up shipwrecking somewhere on the Laos border and head back up towards the docks and call it a night and pack this stuff up.
We didn't capture the mysterious Naga on camera, but at least we had the photos of the Naga tracks on the linoleum floor that could be analyzed. We called Dr. Andrew Ingillis, a zoologist who has specialized in marine creatures for the past 15 years, to take a look and give us his opinion of what was in these photos.
Andrew, hey, it's Josh Gates. How are you?
Hey, how's it going?
I'm well, thanks. Did you get the email that I sent you?
Yes, I'm looking at them right now.
The markings you see on the floor that the locals are claiming are the traces of a Naga, which is like a serpent that has slithered across the floor. Does that seem consistent with the kind of markings that a snake could make?
Well, just looking at the marks that's left behind, it just seems like something. I've never seen a pattern like this ever left behind by a snake before. Usually they leave sort of concentric rings.
Does it seem consistent with the markings of any animal that you know about?
I don't know. It doesn't look like something that I'm familiar with that an animal could leave.
As I expected, the pictures from the Naga village didn't prove to be much help in tying up this investigation, but we still had the 2 Naga videos to take a look at. But before I gave them back to the doctor for analysis, we traveled back to the US to meet with a team of video-audio forensic specialists to see if they could reconstruct the images of the shaky pixelated video. Being that they were leaders in forensic investigation, I was confident they would give the doctor and myself a clearer picture to look at.
So this is the ripples in the water video, yeah?
Right.
Okay, so were you able to do anything with this?
This one I wasn't. There's nothing that appears to come up out of the water, anything I can focus on.
Okay, do we have better luck with the other piece of footage?
Yes, we do.
Okay, great. Well, let's take a look at that.
Okay. This one I took still photos and did the enhancement from there. Over on the side here, you can see each photo that is layered, that is stacked on top of each other to get the definition of this image right in here.
Do you think that what we're looking at here is organic?
In my opinion, that's organic. It's some kind of life form. There appears to be an eye. It's my opinion that that is an organic life form.
With a newly reconstructed image of our submerged star, I emailed the files to Dr. Ingillis to get his opinion of what we were looking at.
I've looked at this image, and it clearly shows an animal that sort of begins and ends, I think, in a fish-like structure, and in my mind clearly show a catfish under the water. I don't think it represents any sort of serpent. It just doesn't seem logical to extend it to something that's real long and snake-like.
Sure.
But that still didn't explain the numerous eyewitness accounts. One thing was for sure, I saw no horns and found no fireballs in the photos. It was time to leave the Naga and turn our attention to our audio files from the crematorium.
So, you want to just go ahead and play this? First of all, we wanted to have you send us the recording equipment that you created, and so we did tests with that. We did not see anything that was identical to what you've sent us in the crematorium.
The forensics guys were unable to recreate the static patterns we picked up in the crematorium, even using the same exact equipment we used. This ruled out the possibility of a faulty microphone. But I decided to listen to the recording a little more carefully with a section of the audio isolated. It was then that I noticed something strange.
Can you amplify it even more?
Sure.
There's definitely something talking there. Can you amplify that for me? What does that sound like here?
It does sound like speech.
It does sound like speech, right?
It does sound like speech.
That definitely sounds like whispering.
Does anybody in your office speak Thai?
No.
Whispering voices, we immediately took our recording to a Thai translator back in Los Angeles to see if she could make out what was being said.
What do you think?
Is that like, "Oh, by him or, oh, by him or, oh, by him or." It means, get out of here, everybody, get out of here.
It means get out of here? That's very scary. All right, well, thank you so much. You know, this place that we went, it was a completely abandoned cemetery. There were no people around, and we have this really dynamic audio recording with sounds and what appear to be voices on it. So this is a place that may actually have paranormal activity.
My search for the Naga revealed it to be more of a complex phenomenon than I ever could have imagined. Steeped in Buddhist history, it seems to be a mythological meeting point between the physical and spiritual worlds. As for its eyewitness accounts, I believe the Mekong River is sort of like a religious Rorschach test, and that in Thailand, hints of that revered serpent are what the faithful see in those waters. However, our zoologists felt that the cause of many of these sightings might be nothing more than a giant catfish. And as for me, well, my instincts tell me that it's a mystery for a reason. Regarding the monastery and the sounds we recorded in the crematorium, a voice telling us to get out in the native tongue is definitely outside of normal. But paranormal? I suppose that too is open to interpretation. One thing is for sure, those whispering voices apparently demanding that we get out, and of course, the sight of my producer flailing around in the Mekong are both going to stay with me for quite a while, even as we push onward in search of the next dark corner of the globe.
Next Destination Truth.
The real mystery here is how a town this small can have this many foosball tables.
Josh searches for Papua New Guinea's legendary flying predator, the Vulpin.
Camera 2 just had movement on it. There it is. Look at that. They're everywhere in here.
Destination Truth, a Sci-Fi Channel original series. All new next Wednesday at 10, right after an all-new Ghost Hunters.
What's the scariest episode you've ever come across?
People tell him everything because he goes where most wouldn't dare.
It was a blue-gray mist swirling.
I quit living. I went to the other side.
Into the Unknown with George Norrie premieres next on Sci-Fi.